Yay Networks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sour Loss, Sweet Lessons. I am your host, Dr. Deshauna Barber. I am a full-time motivational speaker, Army veteran, and former Miss USA. This podcast is all things self-love, self-care, and self-improvement. I went through it so you don't have to. I'm so incredibly excited to welcome you to another episode that's always going to contribute to our happiness, contribute to our self-love, help boost our confidence, and also learn how to take on adversity and how to face our hurdles in our lives. I am sitting next to a very special guest, my husband, Marvin Eccles III.
Hello.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience,
How
sir?
you doing, everybody? My name is Marvin Eccles. I am 30 years old from St. Louis, Missouri, civil structure engineer by trade, and the luckiest man in the world.
Why, thank you, hubby. Now, before I jump any further, I want you all to hit that subscribe button, the like button, hit the share button. And if you love this episode or you love this podcast in general, please be sure to leave us a review. Let me know what you think about the episode. Send me a DM. I want to hear your feedback. So, multiple streams of happiness. So what do we mean by multiple streams of happiness? Let me go ahead and clarify. I'm a deep believer that you can't place your happiness into one place in your life, one category of life, into one person, into one career, into one place. It just has to be sourced from multiple places. I feel like we are fluid beings in which our emotions are impacted by a multitude of categories, and that we have to be able to nurture all these different categories of our lives. It is so incredibly important to nurture ourselves. So, multiple streams of happiness. This episode is going to be great because I'm a big believer that it's incredibly important to have multiple streams of happiness. It's incredibly important to look at the different categories in your life and nurture each of those individual categories. So that, for instance, if something were to happen in one category, let's say my health, that there are other pieces of my life that are very much well taken care of, are in great spaces, and that I don't feel as though my life is crashing and burning. But also realizing that you have to make this an intentional act of going out into the world and sourcing your happiness from different places. That's why I'm really excited to be sitting here with my husband, because I really think, I'm like smacking my face with the mic. But that's why I'm really excited to be sitting here with my amazing husband, because I really think that us having multiple streams of happiness really contributes to the healthiness of our relationship. I don't believe that we are completely dependent on one another for happiness, that our happiness comes from all these different angles, and we happen as individuals to be contributing factors to each other's happiness, but we aren't the totality of our individual happiness. And I think that that's what makes our relationship such a beautiful and amazing experience. But I want to ask you, what would you say is your number one source of happiness outside of me, of course?
Right, outside of you, of course.
Outside of me, what is your number one stream?
I think it might be a tie. But I think I know which one is number one. I think that's my health.
Okay.
I really dive in, appreciate the gym. My physical health absolutely contributes to my mental health. And I think that's my number one source of happiness outside of you, of course.
That's a good one.
Yeah, anytime I'm stressed, whether it be career, which is one stream of happiness, or my family, even if it's a relationship, the gym is my zen place where I know I'm working on myself, I'm building myself, I'm making myself better. I can take all the energy and put it towards something that's going to be positive for me. So my health is definitely my number one source of happiness.
I definitely think that just about aligns. He'll spend about 3 to 4 hours in the gym.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I give him that space. I think it's important for him to have, his own outlet. I think that that's really important.
Yeah. And I usually do it's easy to do like 2.5. Just it gets to like 3 because of the commute, but it's easily could spend 2 hours in the gym, working out, sauna, cardio, just hitting it. But I feel so good when I leave that it's really like whatever I went in there with, once I'm out the gym, it's released.
And what's interesting is that, you already know I'm very clingy. So like on Saturdays and Sundays, I have to admit, sometimes he's like, I'm about to head to the gym. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be spending time with this man.
Oh, I know it.
Like, I want to spend time. I want to go walking in the park. I wanted this, I wanted that. But it's really not about me. And that's what I've had to really check myself on, is that you still, there's still 21 hours left in the day. Yeah. Like we'll find some time to spend together. So what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing because one thing I actually really, really do appreciate the fact that you allow, because when I'm going, I'm like, I know she's like, okay, see you when you get back. But I really do appreciate that you allow me that time. Now, mind you, we could spend 20 hours together and still that 4 would make you be like, come back where you're going. But still, the fact that you actually allow me to do it, I really appreciate it. So that when it's time for you to put your energy in your buckets, I'm completely patient and understanding.
For sure, you are. And after this break, I'm going to offer you all what my number one stream of happiness is. So we'll see you in a sec. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Last year, I ran into a point in my life in which I was incredibly overwhelmed. I had so many things on my plate, and I did not know how exactly to be able to lift some of the weight that I was carrying because I had so many responsibilities and commitments last year. And truthfully, when we have so much on our plate, it confuses us. It puts us in a position where we don't know what we're doing. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what path we're supposed to be on. Well, therapy is supposed to help us keep our head screwed on the right way. It's supposed to help us stay and maintain the course that we've committed to. And it's also supposed to help us in our decision making, what to prioritize, what not to prioritize. It gives us those strategies. Trusting yourself to make decisions that align with your values is like anything. Practice makes perfect. I love therapy because it provides a shoulder to lean on. It gives me someone that I can tell my feelings to and vent to, and they can provide healthy feedback and uplifting feedback. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist. You can also switch at any time at no charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lessons today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lessons. Welcome back. Okay, we're talking about multiple streams of happiness. What is my multiple stream of happiness? My number one.
All curious.
What is it actually? Oh my gosh, I feel like
you know what it is.
It's travel.
It's definitely travel.
It's travel. And my number one is way more inconvenient than his because him going to the gym for 3 to 4 hours, it's 3 or 4 hours. The travel one for me takes money and days and multiple days off. Me and him were talking about this earlier this year because we were going to, of course, we're planning our wedding. We're married. Don't tell our wedding guests, but we're married as of March 2023, and we're planning our wedding. In December. But what we were going to do is we were going to hold off going on vacations until your birthday in June, and I made it to mid-March before I was having like a mental breakdown. Here's how my brain works. And this is why I love travel. When I'm in America, like when I'm here, I'm working. It's very hard for me to say I'm disconnecting, I'm turning off my email, like I'm putting it out of office if I'm sitting in my home, or if I'm sitting in this country. Now, if I'm on a tropical beach in Dominican Republic, it's very hard. It's very hard for me to want to send an email. So my way of decompressing and resetting is by leaving.
Yeah. I even think you could take it a step further. I feel like even when you're in America, you internalize American issues.
Oh, yeah.
Like things that happen in the world, whether it be injustice or anything that happened like that, really. So when you get to leave, you really get to decompress from not only just work, but just American society.
Yeah. And it's like recently there's just been, not even recently, just if every month there's something like, it's a lot. I feel like every country has its ups and downs and its problems, of course. But I am a news person. He knows this. I will literally sit on YouTube and be on like MSNBC, CNN. Like I am just constantly embedded in the news and embedded into politics. And it's because the nonprofit that I've been working for 3.5 years works on Capitol Hill, works with Congress. So I'm very much attached and embedded into the inner workings of the country because that's how I'm able to assist in my role with passing legislation to be able to make change, positive change, all these things. So I have no choice. Like people can just say, well, just stop looking at the news. I can't. I can't just not look at the news. I have to look at the news. I have to be up to date. I have to know what's going on in our society so that as a person that works in philanthropy, I can know what changes need to be made and what role the organization can play in those changes. So I have to get out of here.
Basically.
I need to leave. And that is a stream of happiness for me, is travel, meeting new people, experiencing different cultures. Like it's just such a beautiful experience just to leave
and
and sit on the beach.
This is why I feel like I get a pass because, my happiness only costs $32 a month. Your happiness,
a couple thousand a quarter,
so we can give or take. But I know how much, especially within our first couple months of marriage, I know like, okay, this is one thing this is one of her pots of happiness. You got to make sure that you're willing to pour into her pot as well.
Yeah, and we've had to make some even financial sacrifices just because it's peace of mind, it's mental health.
It's worth it.
I just can't. And I know people are like, you're being so dramatic. I got to leave. Like I have to, it has to happen. So that's my number one. It's always going to be travel, like passport stamps for days. Like it's so important to me. And what about you? What's your number two?
You know what? I kind of put all of the travel as your happiness, but I actually really like traveling.
Is it a stream of happiness though?
I definitely think it's a stream of happiness.
Okay.
You
don't need it though.
Yeah, you know what? I don't need it. Yeah, I don't need it like you need it.
Yeah.
But it is really, I do really enjoy it. So that when you're like, oh my God, we got to go on a trip because of her happiness, it's like, book the trip. But I actually think another one is family for me.
Yeah.
I think it's actually for both of us. We're both
for sure.
Very family oriented. Like spending time with just family, just talking, getting on each other, watching movies, sitting around, reminiscing old stories. Like even me going with your family, like that's a source of happiness for me.
I love that. I definitely think we match on our number two.
Absolutely.
Is for sure. Our families, the amount of time that we spend with them, there's just something about the love of a family and people that you enjoy, people that understand you, people that you've grown up with. They understand your humor. They understand your behaviors. They understand what you've been through. Like, I really don't think that there is a place where I feel more comfortable with being myself than I'm with my family. Like I can be myself with you and family. I can be weird. I can be crazy. I can be, just very freaking outlandish. And he's met my family before. We're all very weird. And it's just like the only place in the world
so perfect,
where I can be strange, and it's just like people understand my humor. And it's, so I agree. I definitely think family is a stream, and it's probably one of the most necessary streams I think we all have in our lives is having family and love and relationships. it's the most beautiful piece of who we are.
Absolutely.
For sure. So we're going to close out with our third stream of happiness once we take our break. So we'll see you in a sec. Welcome back. Now we're going to dive into your third stream of happiness.
So I think my third stream of happiness would have to be getting fly or dressing up, especially with your partner, and going out. Just being social, but like that whole, that's me.
Yeah, you like getting dressed up and us like going out as
and looking
a
fly with
duo.
your partner. That is a stream of happiness.
And it's a very strange one because there'll be times where I'm just like, I just want to throw some jeans and a tank top, no makeup, like put a hat on. He's like, no,
put it on. Let's go.
Like, let's really get dressed. I'm like,
let's
go. My gosh.
And I feel like that would actually shock people as a pageant queen over here. I
don't even like putting on makeup. Like he can really vouch for that. I don't want to put on makeup. It takes a long time, if we're being honest here. It takes an hour.
The only thing that's great, like you don't have to put on makeup. But like when we go out, I like to.
You like to have me put on makeup, like get the hair together,
everything,
clothes.
Fly, suit. That's me.
And I'm the type where it's like, can I wear jeans and a rugged top and just put a little concealer on?
But that's fine for like if we're doing something that calls for it.
Yeah.
You would rather do that
every day. Every day.
Yeah. So,
but that might have been what Miss USA did to me.
Probably.
Honestly.
Yeah.
This is a trauma response. This is a trauma response, you guys. If you're spending a year...
Don't tell me my happiness is your trigger.
It's a trigger. No, for real. Honestly, I might just really be discovering this because if we're being honest, when you're Miss USA, you're going out every single day, dressing up, heels, hair done. It is a lot.
You look so
after
good.
that, well, thank you, sweets. But after that, after the year's over, I don't want to put on makeup. I don't want to put on heels. Like I'm doing it out of obligation, but not necessarily out of like true desire.
But I feel like we're so naturally homebodies.
We are.
So that when we do, it's like, well, let's try today.
Yeah, I just be wanting to sit my butt at home.
Yeah, I love it.
But I like this stream. You're right. You like to get dressed up.
Yeah.
What's my third stream? Oh, my career. It's my career. But I've actually been blessed. Yeah. I've been blessed to be able to have a career that aligns with my passion.
Passion work.
Okay. It doesn't necessarily feel like a job when I'm going to work. Am I working? Of course, but it doesn't necessarily feel like work because I'm really like walking in my purpose. I'm walking in my passion. I've been blessed to be able to have a career that actually aligns with my passion 1000%. Being a motivational speaker, it's such a joyful experience to be able to make a living off of encouraging, inspiring people on a stage, amazing audience, telling your story. Like I wake up every day with so much joy in my heart that this is my job. It is such a blessing. And it's very rare. It's accessible, but it's rare that people can reach like the full totality of their passion and you're able to live off of what you make from that. So I would absolutely have to say that career is definitely a stream of happiness for me. And yeah, I'm just super grateful for it. That's why this podcast is existent. Like, I feel like this is also becoming a stream of happiness for myself because this platform and this podcast is meant to be another way and another source of my inspiration, being able to go out there to other people because not everybody can make it to a speech or a corporate event. So where can they access the motivational content and the inspirational content? And that's what the podcast is for. So
I love that.
This is another stream.
Yeah.
So what about your stream of happiness being me?
You see how she just threw that on me?
It is.
I feel like it's actually the biggest blessing. When your partner is also a stream of happiness. I feel like that's an underrated blessing.
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't approach relationships
Yeah.
like that anymore.
That's possible.
You know? Just being excited to see your partner, being able to have fun with your partner, enjoying staying with your partner, experiencing life, growing, even experiencing your partner experience their happiness.
I agree.
Even you doing passion work. That's a blessing. That's also another source of happiness too in a relationship where your happiness is kind of sourcing your partner being happy. Even especially when it's times where dark times or something like that, but when you see your partner happy, it's fulfilling. So yeah, I think it's a blessing, and it's also one thing that you try to keep your partner in that life. So it's like, what can I do to make sure that this person stays grounded in her happiness here?
I agree, and you're an absolute.
And so let's talk about how I'm your happiness.
You absolutely are a very large stream of my happiness.
Oh. oh.
Sir, you are. And this sounds funny, but of course, you're a stream of my happiness, right? People are going to think I'm crazy for thinking this. But you're a stream of my happiness, absolutely. And this relationship brings me so much joy on a daily basis.
Wait for it.
But what brings me more joy is knowing I don't have to date anymore. And I don't have to be out here in the streets.
Low key. I feel that.
It's terrible out there. I don't want to go back.
Like, I'm done. I got mine. Have fun, everybody.
I'm sorry to say, but it is a stream of happiness knowing that this is taken off of the list of things that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I no longer have to stress myself over finding my partner, the dating scene, the struggles of different personalities in the dating world. Like, it is a stream knowing that I never have to go back there again. It is an absolute stream of happiness for me, and I'm really grateful. Like but anyway, you're a joy, babe. Like, and he knows this. We play all day, like just laughing, giggling, playing jokes on each other, tricks, scaring each other. Like, just every day, we're just like two kids in this darn loft. Like, it is just always so much fun. And
the poor dog just look at us like, who's the kid here?
Our dog is just like completely looking at us, running around, throwing water on each other. Like, every day I get to be myself with you. And it's such a stream of happiness for me. It's such a peace for me, and it's a joy. And I prayed for this relationship, and it's finally here, and we're married and happy, and hopefully going to be popping out 5 kids within the next few years. And you see I threw that out there. He only wants 3. I'm trying to get to 5. We got to get some convincing going on here. So just got to keep plugging it in his ear. Anyway, but this has been a true joy.
That's amazing.
So for our listeners, how do they discover their streams of happiness? There are some people out there that are unhappy and they don't even know where to start to find their happiness. Or you have others that are relying solely on one category of their lives and they don't know how to expand it and look for other spaces in which they can source their happiness. What's your recommendation before I give mine?
You know, I'm trying to think about how I found mine. And I think I started with trying to do things that would better myself. And then I fell into, I really enjoy this.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's one thing. I say focus on things that will better yourself, that'll make you a better person.
Yeah.
And then I feel like you'll fall into your happiness that way.
Yeah.
And another thing, I would just cultivate whatever you're naturally good at. A lot of people like have 9-to-5s where they work. And then they have hobbies on the side or something that they want to do, but just feel like they don't have the time. Yeah. And I feel like everybody has a natural gift, and just really just tap into your natural gift. And I feel like that's a way to cultivate another stream of happiness.
I love that. 2020 was a very tragic year for almost all of us because COVID hit, the world shut down, and I myself had gotten out of a really toxic relationship, and it was probably one of the darkest years of my life. And I had to go on this very interesting journey, and I went deep into therapy, and my therapist had recommended, because I'm like, I just don't even know how to be happy again. I don't know where to find my happiness. Like, I don't know where it went. I don't know how to get there. And she's like, I know that you have happy moments, but you're not really fully aware of why they're a happy moment. So she says to me, I want you to look at this past year, because this was in the fall of 2020 that me and her were having this discussion. She says, look at this entire year, and I want you to write down your top 10 moments where you last remember being happy. And one of the moments was when my baby brother came home from school, and he was in the house, and my sister came up from Atlanta with my nephew. And then my sister moved from North Carolina, and we were all packed in my dad's house. And it was when we were playing Taboo in the living room. And I wrote that down on my list. And then I wrote down, me and my sister went to Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. I wrote that down on my list. And then I wrote down when I was speaking at a conference in California, Los Angeles. It was Student Veterans of America Conference. I wrote that down. So as I'm writing through this list, I'm realizing that
family,
travel, family, career. So we analyzed the list and we realized, okay, clearly when you're out of the country, you're happiest. When you're with your family, you're the happiest. When you're on the stage, you're the happiest. So if I had to give a recommendation, I would tell you, thank you. Yeah. I would tell you to do what my therapist told me, which is take a list of the past year and write down most recently the last 10 times you've been happy and look for the trend. And when you find the trend, you'll start to discover what really does bring you happiness, because almost always these things categorically fall into some sort of trend, some sort of common area, and you start to really find the puzzle piece of, okay, this is what really brings me happiness in totality. You're able to put those puzzle pieces together, and then you have the full scope of what makes you happy. So I think that's my bigger recommendation. Thank you.
I would like that.
It's a good little exercise. You all try that and let me know how that goes for you. Please send me a DM if you try this. Let me know what categories you discovered are your main streams of happiness, and then tell me, what do you plan on doing to cultivate those streams and to, efficiently and effectively maximize those streams in your life. And that wraps up this episode. Thank you all so much for joining us on Sour Loss, Sweet Lessons. Please subscribe, like, share, and leave us a review. What did you think about this episode? What are your streams? And we want to know a little bit more about that. So we'll see you next time.
Yay Networks.